Hi, my name's Alec. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Spexi, and today I'm going to run you through what it takes to become a pilot on the network. First things first, you're going to need a drone. This is the DJI Mini 3. This is our most popular drone on the network, and it's our workhorse because it doesn't have obstacle avoidance sensors, which enables it to fly longer due to more efficient battery use. So you'll need a drone, the DJI Mini 2, Mini 3, Mini 3 Pro, or Mini 4 Pro. All of those drones will work seamlessly on the network. The next thing you'll need is a device to connect to your controller. This is important. We don't connect to the controllers that have the built-in screen. We only connect to the controllers that you have to bring your own device, BYOD. The device you have is also important. It must be an Android. We don't currently work with iOS devices simply because the drone and the drone hardware does not connect to iOS. So Android only, but not to worry, if you have an iOS, you can of course hotspot your cellular to Android. That's what I do, and it works quite well because then I have a fly phone available and my other phone available too. So once you have the right drone and the right device, it's time to start thinking about the application. You can download the Spexi mobile application on the Google Play Store. If you have the DJI Mini 2, make sure that you download the Mini 2 app. If you have the DJI Mini 3, Mini 3 Pro, or Mini 4 Pro, download the Mini 3 or 4 app. Pretty straightforward. Once you have the correct app, it's going to ask you to walk through some onboarding steps. Pretty simple. We need your email, we need your name, we need your bank account information at this phase of the network because we need to pay you. In the future state of the network, things will be a little bit different and there'll be crypto payments through Layer Drone, but for now, we're still paying with cash. So make sure you follow all those steps, fill out everything you need to fill out because it's really important that we can of course pay you for the work that you do. Certifications. Right now the network is mainly operating in North America. In Canada, flying a sub 250 gram drone does not require the pilot to have a license. However, you must be responsible at all times, and there is one overarching regulation called CAR 900.06, which means don't be an idiot, be smart, fly safe, because that rule can still get you if you're being silly. In the United States, however, you are required to have a Part 107 pilot's license because this would be defined as a commercial operation, obviously. So that framework makes more sense in the United States. You'll need to interact with the LANC airspace system and things like that. You'll need to add your Part 107 license number into our application so that it can be verified at this stage of the network. So that's a really important thing, that you're understanding which regulations you need to follow in order to fly legally and safely in the area that you're in. Once you have that information, you can onboard onto the application and you can start figuring out where you want to fly. Simply put, you open up the application and you'll see a bunch of hexagons. We call them Spexigons because they have Spexi flight data built into them. You need to get close to one of those Spexigons, open up your mobile application, make sure your drone and controller are powered on and everything's connected, and then you simply hit fly. The drone will take off and ascend in the hexagon that you're in, and we very much recommend that you are physically within the hexagon or Spexigon that you need to fly so that you can remain visual line of sight flight rules. The drone will take off to about 80 meters, and then it will start flying its flight path depending on the mission type that's in that Spexigon. This is a fully autonomous flying situation. You are not really doing much flying. You're monitoring the operation and the airspace for safety. You can, of course, take back manual control should the need arise by simply clicking down on the left stick or up on the left stick, changing the mode, or hitting the RTH button on your controller. These are really important safety features that you should make yourself familiar with before flying with Spexi. It's really important to remain as safe as possible so that everyone can benefit from this network. Another question we get asked frequently is about reputation points. Do you need reputation points to start flying? Do you need reputation points to start reserving Spexigons? What does this mean? Let me break it down for you. First question, no, you don't need reputation points to start flying. You can just show up to a Spexigon as long as you're the first one there, and then you can fly it, and you don't need to reserve anything, and that does not require reputation points. Where reputation points do play a factor is if you want to reserve Spexigons. This is not required, but it's a nice thing to be able to do. Reserving Spexigons enables you to block off areas of the map that you'd prefer to fly without having to worry about other pilots flying them before you. There are some rules, however, though. You need to have enough reputation points, and you need to make sure that you fly those Spexigons within 48 hours. Otherwise, you'll get penalized because you've taken the opportunity away from other pilots to potentially fly that area, and you didn't do the flying. Pretty straightforward, though. We think that the reservation system is fantastic, and it's been well received by many pilots on the network. But just wanted to clarify, reputation points are not needed to start flying. However, they're nice to have if you want to do any reservations. Hey everybody, now that you're ready to fly, you've got the mobile app, you've got your Android device, and you've got either a DJI Mini 2, Mini 3, Mini 3 Pro, or Mini 4 Pro. It's time to get to work and have some fun flying your drone for reward on the network. So first things first, once you get in here, you'll see that there's a bunch of hexes that you might be able to fly. Gold means that they're available for capture. Purple means they've already been captured or they're locked for another reason. And orange means that someone else is flying them. We want to stay away from the orange ones because that's where other pilots are. There's another color available on the network, which is pink, which represents pilot reservations, which we've talked about before, but you can use your status on the network to reserve more hexes in areas that you want to fly. And there's rules associated with that. Please check the documentation. So when we're flying drones, the first thing we want to do is make sure that we're able to do so safely. So right now we're on the rooftop of the Spexi offices in Vancouver, and right now we are in Class C controlled airspace. So because we're flying a sub 250-gram drone, and this is in Canada, technically I don't, or you don't if you're in Canada, need a pilot certificate to fly this drone legally in Canada. However, it's a great idea to have one. In Canada, there's the basic and the advanced licensing framework. We recommend going all the way to advanced, but at the very least, a basic license is a very good idea. In the United States, Part 107 is required to fly in commercial operations, so you'll be required to have a Part 107 license. And other countries, as the regulations apply, you must fly legally, safely, and compliantly. So we're going to take a quick survey of the area, make sure that there's nothing around us that's going to cause a hazard to the takeoff or landing of the aircraft. And then we're also going to make sure that the airspace around us is clear. This is important. You as the pilot perform the primary detect and avoid function for the airspace with your eyes and your ears. And the best tool for this is not your eyes, it's actually your ears. You will hear aircraft long before you'll see them. So we want to make sure that there's no helicopters around, there's no low-flying Cessnas or other planes that might interfere with the operation. Keep in mind that the drones go to 260 feet above ground, or 80 meters, and they stay there because we have terrain following built into our software. What that means is that the drone is gonna stay at that altitude as it follows undulating terrain. And so you can rest assured that the drone's not gonna be above 400 or 500 feet above ground, where you're much more likely to come into interference with manned aircraft flight plans. Always staying below 400 feet above ground, always. That's a common rule in many countries, but also for safety reasons, we always want to stay below that altitude. And so before we take off, we're making sure that the airspace is clear. So we're doing a nice check. I can see a jetliner up there, it's way too high. And always monitoring the airspace for safety, always. Ears first, then eyes. Ears first, then eyes. So, drone's connected, it's on. This is the DJI Mini 3 regular, which is, I think, the best drone for this network. My Android device is ready. And so I'm gonna click into the hex. I've chosen the Spexigon that I'm in. It's very important to choose the Spexigon that you're in or very close to, because you need to keep the drone in your visual line of sight at all times. And that means you can't be too far from the drone, because if you're too far, it's gonna be really hard for you to see it and the airspace around it. The other important thing is your C2 link. So the strength of the link from your controller to your drone needs to stay as high as possible at all times, because the app is actually controlling the drone through that link. And if you lose some of that signal strength, you might lose the ability for it to fly automatically, and you might have to perform a return to home. So I've checked my safety settings. I like them all. My return to home altitude set at 100 meters, so the drone will go up to 100 and come right over us. I've got good horizontal distance settings in the safety parts of the app. And I've checked out the airspace, everything's clear. And so all I need to do now is set up the flight, choose a multi-pano, check that the health metrics are good. I have good C2, I have good satellites, my battery's good, I've got lots of room on my SD card. time to fly. Hit the fly button. And I'm just gonna keep watch of it. So this is a full autopilot, so you're really not doing much flying. You are simply monitoring for safety. So the drone's gonna go to its first waypoint and start imaging, and we're nice and squarely in the center of this hex, which is a great place to be. The drone's not gonna get more than a few hundred meters horizontally away from us. And away we go. So this should take roughly 7 minutes per hex. Depends on the drone. This one's fairly quick, the Mini 3 regular. Some of the pros are they take a little bit longer due to the obstacle avoidance sensors they have on them. But again, your primary function while the drone's in flight is to make sure a bird doesn't eat your drone, which does happen sometimes, but to monitor the airspace for safety. So on that note, I'm in busy airspace, Class C controlled airspace. There's lots of aircraft around. I know that the altitude I'm at is a safe altitude, and I'm also monitoring everything. But let's simulate an issue. I need to bring the drone home because I don't like what's going on. Maybe weather's coming in, or there's an aircraft I'm a little uncomfortable with. Easy. There's a few things you can do. The first thing is hit the RTH button, and the drone will come home automatically. But sometimes you don't want it to take long for it to come home, or you want to do something. The second thing to do, pull down on that left stick. You'll immediately start descending and the mission is stopped. You're now returned to manual control just like you would be in any drone flight. You can also then bring back the full view of the drone and have your mini map in reference, which is sometimes helpful. I actually prefer to fly it back this way. So I'll just swivel the stick to make sure that I have control. See the drone. I can use then this red line to fly it back to me. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fly the drone back to me on the map. And I'm gonna start descending, and now I have it in sight. And so pretty easy to then fly it back, but immediately I can get this drone back. And there you go. So we just simulated an early return to home because of something we didn't like, weather, aircraft, traffic, something on the ground happening. Always you can take back manual control. And remember, you are the pilot in command. You're responsible for the aircraft at all times. You're responsible for the safety of the operation, the people on the ground and the people in the air when you're flying. It's really important that you take that seriously. Our software does a lot of really exciting things and it automates this process for you, but you are always in control. Should you need to, you can take back manual control and bring that drone back. Okay, now that you've been doing some flying, you've got a bunch of imagery on your SD cards, and you've been flying safely and efficiently. It's perfect, that's exactly what we want to see. Also, it's good to keep in mind that you want to have multiple SD cards. Should you need to fill up your SD card because you've been doing so much flying, or perhaps you hit a tree and you need to go get that drone and you don't want to lose all that data, it's nice to have a bunch of SD cards. Of course, we don't want you hitting trees, but sometimes with drones, you hit trees. So when you've been doing all this flying and you've got a bunch of data on your SD card, it's now time to upload that data. So what does that look like? You need to take the SD card out of its slot, bring it to your computer, and go to the explorer.spexi.com URL. That's our web application that enables you to upload a lot of data at one time. It's called batch uploading. And we use a system called proof of capture to verify that your uploads are authentic. We actually use the blockchain in this process. So when you're out there doing your flying, what you don't realize is you're also minting NFTs. Every flight that you do, you mint an NFT, which records a bunch of information about that flight. And it's imprinted with the NFT so that it can't be modified using the blockchain. Haha, we are a blockchain project after all. When you go to upload your data at the end of the day, we match the metadata that comes off of the images to the records that you generated when you were flying. If those records match, proof of capture is satisfied, and you get to upload your imagery. We then reward you. If proof of capture is not satisfied, it's probably because something you're maybe double uploading or something else has gone wrong that is not enabling you to upload, and This is also to protect the network from any bad actors or spoofers that are trying to upload multiple data sets at the same time or from the same location. And so far, this has worked very well for the network. This is a 99% effective rate, and we haven't yet had anybody figure out how to spoof it, and so this is really good. But it's a really important process, uploading your data. You need to do it at the end of your day. You want to do it as soon as you can after you stop flying. This is better for the network, and if you wait too long, you might lose your rewards. So speaking of uploads and payouts, it's important that you do this process successfully so that we can reward you correctly. This is our goal, is to fairly reward you for the work that you've put in and the imagery you've contributed to the network. There's another way to earn currently, and that's to refer the network customers. Customers are the most important piece of all of this. Pilots are a close second, but without customers to buy the data that pilots are uploading, the system doesn't work. We're doing all that we can to onboard as many customers as possible, and so far it's been really successful, and we've had some incredible customers come on the network, but we'd love your help. What that means is we'll actually reward you, we'll pay you an additional referral fee for legitimate customers that you bring to us. So there's a process that you can get involved with. All the information is in the Discord. All you need to do is look at that and then provide us the information of a customer, and our team will try to verify that that customer is authentic, and then we will reward you $200 or more in some cases for that referral. So if you want to earn more, refer us customers. If you want us to go places on the network, refer us customers from those places. I keep hearing when Europe, when Brazil, when Africa. I love it. Bring us customers and we'll be right there. Otherwise, it might take us a little longer to get there because we want to make sure that there's demand for the data in those places. So support. We've put a lot of effort into supporting our community and pilots on the network. We have a fantastic team that runs support, namely Graham and Nav. You'll find them in the Discord. Discord's the best place to be if you want to join the community, talk about the Spexi platform and the Layer Drone network, talk to other pilots, and get support. Discord is where you want to be. Please join there. If you're having specific issues with the app or the drones or the general process, submit a support ticket. Nav on our team runs that process. He's incredibly talented at it, and it's a sophisticated pipeline of support that will get you help as fast as we possibly can. Please submit a ticket and we'll get you help. When you're flying, you want to make sure that you're flying with sufficient environmental conditions. Drones operate in the air, obviously. That means that you need to make sure that you're flying in adequate weather conditions so that you can capture good data and capture it safely. So don't fly when it's raining, don't fly when it's snowing, don't fly when it's too windy, don't fly when you don't think you'll be able to get this drone back safely. It's never worth the risk, and it's not worth your drone. The other thing is daylight. We capture RGB imagery or visual imagery on this network using drones and their sensors. That means you need to fly during sufficient daylight hours. The app will actually force you to do this. You can't fly too early or too late in the day, depending on sun angle and the season and time of year. But it's always good to keep in mind you're about an hour on either side of sunrise or before sunset. And so making sure that we're flying in between those hours. In the summer, of course, in North America, that's a long time to fly. Same with South America in their summer. So. But something to keep in mind, daylight only, try to keep good weather. Clouds are fine, as long as you're keeping your drone out of clouds. Your drone must stay below the clouds at all times. But if it's cloudy, that's actually better light for imagery. The worst light, oddly, is full sunlight, but it doesn't matter. We still accept that imagery. It's great imagery. No rain, no snow, not too windy, you're good to go. Okay, now that you're done flying for the day, it's important that you come back to your computer and upload your imagery as fast as possible. This is the best for the network and your surest way to know that you'll get the rewards that you deserve. So we go to explore.spexi.com. This is also where you can look at network activity. You can see different stats that are important to the network, pilots, missions flown, unique acres imaged, really cool stuff. And of course, where activity is in the network right now, predominantly in North America. So if you haven't created an account, you can do so up here, or you can just sign back in. And we use your email to set up all of your account for you. So what it's actually doing is also creating a crypto wallet address in the background, which helps us track all of your contributions and other things that need to happen on the blockchain part of our business. But for now, all you really need to know is that you can either sign in with your email, which we track on the back end, or you can use MetaMask, which is a separate crypto wallet that will track your activity. I'm gonna go ahead and use my email, alec@Spexi. It's gonna send me a code to verify that this is in fact me. So I'll just head over to my email. There it is. Copy, paste. There's my wallet address, 0xFEC9, blah, blah, blah. That's good, that makes sense to me, sign in. Okay, you're gonna see that the UI changed a little bit because now what you're actually seeing is the different status of the hexes, just like you're seeing in your mobile application. And so you can see I'm here in Vancouver, and I'm gonna upload some of my data. So you can see some of the flights here I have in my inbox, and basically all I need to do is take the imagery from my SD card, drag and drop them into here, and then all the images will match. Then simply all you do is upload files, and you let it go. And you can step away from your computer, it will upload automatically. So if the images correspond to the flights, which they all should because everyone's flying honestly and safely, then you'll see that the uploads are verified, and then you'll be eligible for rewards. And it's as simple as that. Go out and fly more and upload more. Fly more, upload more. Have fun.